So if you guys want one,
yes, please.
yeah, there you go. Which is so great because as we come through the different areas, they've grown accustomed to us being here, which is fantastic. So they will often do little things like this for our tour groups as they come through, which I think is so fabulous. So guys, welcome to the staff shop. As this place, as you can see, is kind of where we go from being really about construction to about detail. And this is where kind of the creative element comes into play. We have stuff like these lockers here. All this stuff is either made out of plastic or fiberglass. It's basically the primary materials that make up most of the objects on our set. Most radiators that you ever see on screen are actually made out of plaster. They're hollow, they're much easier to work with, and it's much cheaper. That's ultimately why we use this kind of material. It is much easier to create exactly what we need, and it's a lot cheaper than the real thing would be. If we're using metal all the time, it's really heavy, it's not going to bend and yield to whatever we need it to. And it hurts a lot more if you go into metal locker. But we also create any kind of siding that you see here. I always say this is like going in to pick gift wrap. Because they have all these different things on the walls, and like, yes, I would like the 560 log version, and you want 25 of those because you're covering up an entire cabin. So basically, they get your order, and then everything starts out as one of these sheets here. This is basically a sheeted plaster of fiberglass. And they take this sheet and then they put it in the machine behind this. It's called a vacuum form press. It heats up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And they have a mold for each one of these things. And they use the mold and they basically press it, and out comes brick. And you can see the different types of brick that we have. Yes, it was like murder brick. I'm not sure why they call it that, but and then you have it, and then they can paint it whatever color you need. So there we have different types of colored brick there, depending on what type of building you're creating. But we also can do different statues, poles. All of our light poles out on the lot are created by our staff shop. They're hollow. We can put a wire up and put a light at the top of this if we wanted, for the light poles there on every corner. The fire hydrants are usually created by the staff shop, as you can see. You can have the whole, pick this up and throw it into someone and you think he's superhuman when actually he's just picking up a hollow plastic sewer cover here. So the stuff is a lot lighter weight, so we can utilize this stuff for stunts as well. Our staff shop is responsible for creating the breakaway brick, which basically means they blow a lot of air into sand, and that's how they make the brick, so that you can punch a brick wall and it disintegrates and stuff like that. But they can create a lot of stunt work, stunt material here in the staff shop as well.
All of this is plastic.
Yep, it's all plaster. And they paint this stuff to look like metal, which I always say this will put our metal shop out of work. But so they can do like these little knobs here, you would think are actual metal. No, we're gonna go through some of the sets for Jurassic Park and all the cages that they kept the dinosaurs in. Those are all created by our staff shop because they're so big. They don't want real metal. It'd be so heavy to utilize that much metal. They just would use this stuff. If they don't need to use it to support anything, they're really probably going to use our staff shop. They can mix metal and plaster to create the look, but even this is not metal. This is plaster. So, they can really paint it realistically enough to look like your metal shop has done it rather than your staff shop. What is it?
I am Chris Gullick.